My name is Chris Stapleton, and I am the Technology Equipment Manager at AgriVision Solutions.
Where'd you grow up at, Chris?
I grew up in Sarasota, Florida, and moved to Salisbury, Missouri about 94, right after the flood of 93 here in Missouri. And I've been married almost 18, 19 years now, and I've got 3 beautiful children.
What do your roles at AgriVision encompass?
My main role is the Technology Equipment Manager, so that is the day-to-day structuring as far as what installs need to be done or what work needs to be done, quoting equipment, talking to customers about, technology on either their planters, fertilizer spreaders, anhydrous applicator, liquid sprayers, harvest yield monitors, things like that.
So how did you get into agriculture and what's your background in the industry?
I got into agriculture about 20 years ago. I got hired on as a welder at a company based out of Marshall, Missouri that sold custom application equipment. So started working there and then just moved my way up from there. Started as a welder, then started putting in cabling and wiring for rate controllers, then turned into a actual road tech and going out in the field, installing the stuff, troubleshooting the technology. And then that turned into kind of once you know the equipment itself, then you know how to sell it. So then it kind of turned into sales / installs. So that I've been basically doing that ever since.
How did that lead you to AgriVision Solutions?
AgriVision actually got a hold of me and said that they had an opening. So I was looking to already move back home. Pretty big drive, about an hour one way every day, and then having to get in a service truck and driving to, eastern Kansas or southeast Nebraska or northwest Arkansas. It's kind of a drive. So I was looking to move back closer as far as employer, and just came in and talked to them and kind of based my experience off of rate control from the application side, and it just looked like it would just streamline right over into seeding control or still utilizing rate control with liquid and granular products. So that's how I came over to AgriVision. Started as a technician and just moved my way up from there.
So what drives what's your drive, your passion for what you do now?
I've always liked to know how things work. That's just kind of how my mind works. Is in order to understand the technology, I need to understand how the system actually works, whether it's voltages or CAN communication or encoders, rate controllers, flow sensors, things like that. That's just how my mind works.
So if you had to think of one word to describe AgriVision, what would that word be?
Culture. I really like the culture here. It's kind of a tight-knit family, so to say. I can go right to the owner if there's any sort of an issue, which there never has been. The employees are great. We all hang out after work. Some of the guys actually live here in town, so day to day we'll see them. Our kids go to the same school, so it's a really tight-knit operation here.
What's one thing that you could tell any grower or any customer, your best piece of advice?
My best piece of advice to any row crop operation would be, you base your whole livelihood on your income, on setting that seed in the ground, and we're basing everything to yield. So if we can set up our equipment that actually puts the seed in the ground to the best optimum performance would be my best piece of advice. Make sure that planter is set up over and above of what it needs to be in order to make sure the seed gets every opportunity to grow the largest yield.
So given that a customer already has a monitor and not brand specific, what would be the next product that you would recommend, the next piece of technology?
I think downforce, it's kind of a tie between downforce and section control or row by row electric drives. Downforce meaning that we need to make sure that the row is not bouncing through the field, because meter performance is solely based on how the row unit rides in the ground or across the field. So if we can minimize any sort of row bounce whatsoever to maintain proper singulation, spacing throughout the entire planting process, that is by far the best upgrade you can do. And then you can stair step off of that get into seed savings, or you can start with seed saving first and put your put clutches on it or robo-row electric drives and then put downforce. But it's kind of a toss up, but I would probably go with downforce and then individual row control.